This is just an academic exercise. I'm gonna experiment and see how it goes if I do this on the go. Hey, I'm coming to you today from one of the world's most connected cities to talk about a very important topic, AI, but just not everything in AI, a couple of topics that I think are important. First, we're gonna discuss AI rage bait. Next, conversation hijacking from AI. Next, we are going to have public sentiment influencing, whether commercial or government, through bots and AI enablement. Then we're going to talk about garbage in, garbage out, about how the next generation of a model may actually not be as good as the original and why. Then we're going to, of course, discuss how commercial entities and governments are manipulating things within the models themselves.
Are there actually men in the world that don't think that tattoos are attractive? Like, I'm asking, like, seriously.
Topic one, AI rage bait. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with this just yet, but there are some new methods that are being used for engagement. Remember, a lot of these people who are making these bot accounts or online, they're not actually trying to sell you anything. They are just trying to get your attention because what they are doing is they are selling the clicks back to the platform on which they have these bot accounts. AI rage bait is very interesting because people are using AI to find out exactly what is going to trigger people's sensitivities. They want to say things that are so ridiculous and outlandish that you have no choice but to click. For example, if someone were to post, I think Firefly should have been canceled even earlier, I'm very happy they never got a second season, you better believe I would click and I would say, no, you're the worst, Firefly's awesome. Of course, we all know Firefly is awesome, but you get the idea. They find out what is it that is going to trigger humans, and they will post about it. But these people will appear real. They will appear like the embodiment of whatever it is you dislike and whatever hot button issues are present at the time. And who knows what hot button issues are present? Well, the AI knows better than everybody. So AI rage bait is the latest thing. They're using AI to determine what is going to evoke a visceral reaction, usually a negative reaction, which is going to cause you to engage with the poster. And by the time you figure out that it was a bot, it is too late. You have already clicked. They have already made their money. And this is being done at scale all over the place because the barrier to entry is really, really low. They short circuit the need to study nudge or Skinner boxes or even read addiction by design, and they can just let AI do it all. The next topic we're going to tackle is conversation hijacking through AI. What do I mean by that? Well, what's going on now is before you send a reply to a human, at least in the corporate world and many other settings, you are running it through AI. Once the human receives that reply, they're then going to craft their reply using AI as well. So what you've noticed here is you're going from human to AI to human back to AI again. Do you see this now? The humans are talking to each other, but they are speaking through intermediaries. That intermediary is AI. Why is this important? This is important because subtle nuances in language can completely change a communication. There are various multilateral contexts in which changing one word or another word, think about contract negotiations, one word, for example, must versus should, or may versus can, are very, very significant in the greater context of the outcome of whatever that agreement was. As we become more and more dependent on AI for language, for grammar, for everything, things can just start breaking down. So AI can influence a conversation if it deems it appropriate. If you have set your model to achieve certain goals, it can then justify changing your conversation, changing the terms of an agreement, changing your sentiment about a certain something, because it feels that it is going to meet your goals. So think about that. You tell AI, my goal is X. You're in the middle of a conversation that has nothing to do with X, but the AI deems that if it changes certain things in your conversation, it can better achieve X. Well, guess what? AI is going to change your conversation, and before you know it, you've just signed up for 20 timeshares. So bots have upped their game significantly. The way bots work now is not like the traditional bot, which would simply click on a like and you'd have a username that makes no sense with an IP address that you've never seen before and no pictures. Now AI is making bots more prevalent than ever, and they're very good because bots will actually weave in the product advertisement and the support or the sentiment that they want you to align with before you even know it. For example, look at this video. This video is some woman that's supposedly woman. This is, of course, AI. A woman that is talking about how she is the 8th wife of some sheikh and how she loves her life, and she's showing all of the lavish gifts that have been bestowed upon her by the sheikh. So you think you're just watching someone talking about their life being an influencer, when in fact, what you are doing is you're watching a bot who is going to sell you diet pills. If you watch the video a little further, we'll get to the point here, I'll show the little clip. You see that this person, quote unquote person, is going to sneak in a little ad. They're going to talk about how the shake really wanted her to be skinny. And how did she stay skinny? She stayed skinny through these pills that she is able to sell you because there's some secret that the shake knew about and nobody else knew about. So you see, bots now are so good that you won't even know they are bots. You have no idea that this person isn't even real unless you look closer, because the quality of the videos looks like that of a real person. Real people do ridiculous stuff like this. Look, I'm filming while I'm walking down the street and nobody cares. You ever seen that Jurassic Park meme? Nobody cares. So beware of next level bots. Next level bots are AI generated people who are pretending that they are just showing you something that they're doing about their life, but in reality they are sneaking in products to sell. Be wary. There are many things for which we've long known that trash in, trash out is a general principle, but did we know that AI is the same way? Right now, based on many metrics, the bulk of the material on the internet will soon be AI generated. What does that mean? That means that the models that are being trained to replace the current models, both foundational, large language, et cetera, are going to be trained on mostly AI stuff. So at some point, it seems like we're in a feedback loop, and that either all human innovation will stop and all work will be derivative, but even more closely derivative than the previous work, and we're just going to get garbage on top of garbage. Right now, I think we can all agree that most of AI is AI slop. It's garbage. It is taking over the internet, and a lot of these platforms don't care that it's there because of the fact that it allows them to add monthly active users. Whether that user is a bot or not, well, it doesn't matter, or it matters more to some than it does to others. But key thing, slop is going to grow because the next models are going to be trained on more slop than human content. The first models were trained on pretty much almost all human content. Of course, there's always some artificially generated content that's in there, but generally speaking, the early models are trained on human content. These later models are going to be trained with everything, which includes the majority AI content. Last year, I was already warning about this, but it's here now. Basically, there are large entities, commercial and government entities, that are able to influence the large language models and even the foundational models of AI to a greater degree than the average person. You might be the expert in X, but it doesn't matter because your expertise does not align with that of the corporations or governments that control the bulk of the information going into the large language models or foundational models. So what you need to be aware of is the fact that you might be asking for a map or some sort of historical reference, and the answer that you're going to get is actually going to be an answer that is conducive to what the government or commercial entity influencing that large language model which you are depending on. So yeah, ask DeepSeek to draw you a map of China. Ask, I don't know, a Coca-Cola run AI what the best soft drink is for health and wellness. Think you're going to get a surprising answer? Or maybe not surprising, and that's the problem.